Well, a debate about changing the name of Yonge Dundas Square to Sankofa Square led to a heated exchange at City Hall this week between councillor Chris Moise and Daniel Tate, a deputant who co-authored a petition against the renaming. Well, let's go back and listen to what happened.
This motion, when it came to council, as you mentioned, it was actually the same time that we renamed Rob Ford Stadium. Where's your petition for that?
Well, Rob Ford was a legend of Toronto, and he's a legend of Etobicoke. So it's actually very fitting and relevant to name.
Thank you.
Where was the Toronto candidates for Yonge and Dundas? Gordon Lightfoot Square, Jackie Shane Square. Herb Carnegie was a hockey player who broke the color barrier. He was from Toronto. Imagine that, Herb Carnegie Square. So using the Rob Ford card is kind of lowballing Councillor Moise.
Any other questions to the deputant? Okay, Councillor Fletcher.
Yes, I'd just like you to...
Can you repeat that? Say it on the microphone.
Hang on a second.
I'm being insulted by Councillor
Allow
Moise.
Councillor
I don't
Fletcher
appreciate you calling me a racist, because I'm definitely...
Wait. Councillor Fletcher has the floor. Allow her to ask the question and you can answer it. Just a second. Councillor Fletcher, ask your question, please.
And Daniel Tate joins us live now to talk about his experience as a deputant. Thank you so much for joining us in studio. And I see you brought the 30,000 signatures as part of the petition that you brought forth to the executive committee. Tell us a little bit about what happened down earlier this week at this committee and what was the response from some of the councillors that we just heard.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time and energy trying to put together what I thought was a really compelling, well-researched, reasonable presentation on why this renaming exercise is something the city doesn't want and the city doesn't need right now, especially in these financial times. You know, we're in a huge budget crunch with the city. We have infrastructure issues, you name it. And so I made what I thought was a really great presentation. And then there was a Q&A after, and then the councillors, or at least 3 of them, basically attacked me. And I was hoping that they would engage me intellectually on the things that I was bringing forth, but it turned into mudslinging, and you know the video speaks for itself, and I was pretty surprised by that.
It was hard to hear exactly what Councillor Moise called you. You're saying that he called you a racist, and in fact, he doubled down on that in interviews earlier this week. I listened to the 15-minute interaction. I didn't hear anything. What do you make of your local councillor, instead of calling you a racist, instead of having an intelligent debate about the issues at hand?
I think he's being derelict of duty. I think that is an absolutely shameful way to treat your constituents. You're an elected leader. You should behave in a certain way, in a civic manner, and to not engage with me and to immediately insult me on the record, it's like you have to question these people's thought process. Like, why would we want people like that in office who treat constituents that way? And for the record, if anybody goes back to the video, you can clearly hear him saying that. Put in your AirPods, put out ambient noise, and you'll hear him clearly say, "You're being a racist."
Well, and his response in one of the interviews that he gave was that, to me, it's, quote, "it seemed there was an element of that, and I was disgusted by that." What's your response?
Well, the video doesn't lie, so I invite everybody to watch my testimony. Everything I said was facts. Everything I said was truth based on research. I brought a 30,000 person petition, one of the biggest petitions in Toronto history, and I thought at least these would generate a conversation. You know, maybe at the minimum they would say, "Daniel, thank you for coming. We really appreciate all the hard work you've done. We'll look at it later," but it turned gross. Like Paula Fletcher, Chris Moise, and Mike Cole as well displayed behavior that was not becoming of a civil servant.
This has garnered tens of thousands of comments online, and when you mentioned a bunch of the issues that we're strapped for cash in the city. We've got a lot of other pressing issues. Why do you think that City Hall is not backing down from being open to changing this, especially considering the name really has no connection to Canada?
So you would think when there's an issue that has widespread unpopularity, that polls in the single digits, and you're in a major financial crunch as the City of Toronto is in, plus you have people power in this petition, you would think cooler heads would prevail, and at least we'd press pause and reevaluate what we're doing. But they doubled down. And that was really shocking to me. Like, this is nothing to sneeze at, 30,000 people. And I'm getting messages from people across the political spectrum who are saying, you're on the right path, you're doing it correctly, and they really embarrassed themselves. And all I know is there's going to be another election in October 2026, and we should remember this moment.
It'd also be interesting to see if the councillors could get 30,000 people that are in favor of that name as well. We'll see.
Let's see.
Daniel Tate, we appreciate you stopping by. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.